What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek podcast. That's right. It is Thursday. It is January 18th. Holy cow. Next thing we know, it'll be Comic-Con. That's how quick this friggin' year's already moving. We've got a special guest tonight. Miss Tiny Amazon, Miranda Viventi. Viventi? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep, Viventi.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Miranda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, you are very welcome. My compadre, my brother man, my co-hosts, my
are you
other crazy
fat beats right now? Is that what's happening?
I don't know, bud.
Like
I've run out of voice to introduce you, buddy. Like I don't know what to do anymore.
It's all good.
Messiah Complex Cosplay, how you doing, dude?
I am delightful. It's great. Look, and already getting some shit, already talking shit. Let's get this show on the road. Hello, McFly. Yeah, guys, we get it. We were 1 minute late. Let's all just settle down, relax. We understand this is the highlight of your week, and today is not going to be any different. It is not just two boring old middle-aged dudes talking about whatever bullshit Star Trek thing they like. No. Today we have the lovely and talented Miranda on, and we are going to talk about all things Miranda today related.
Miranda, are you into Trek?
I'm definitely into Trek and into Star Wars and everything.
All the good stuff. All the good stuff.
All the good
Good
stuff.
evening.
I heard a rumor that
Here we fucking go, guys. Tiny, keep them in line. Can anybody? I don't know, man. Like it's not. I don't know that it's possible at this point.
I don't know. We got a bunch of people joining us already. Megan's in the
Keeping
chat.
us in line.
Christina's in the chat. It's an onion is in the chat.
It's
Meat
Bob.
Pool.
Here we go. Listen, it's fine today.
Here we go. Yes, that I rewatched that again. Just I don't know, like last week or the week before, and I cried laughing again. It was so funny, but
Justice for Inigo. I agree, Andrew. Thanks for having my back on that. That's great. If you didn't tune in last week, guys, we did our top 10 geek and nerd movie quotes of all time. And there was some controversy. Like there always is with all of our top 10 lists. Was it as controversial as the top 10 villains of all time? Hell no. But there was definitely some controversy in that list. I think we made a few people angry. Just not as angry as we did with our top 10 villains. Because oh man, do we make a lot of people angry.
I mean, Rob didn't come running, banging on my door. So
the internet was not happy with us.
Day.
Yeah. When the geek shares their opinion.
Right?
If someone's not angry.
Did you even do it right? Like, did you even share it at that point? Wicked Witch, bro. Yeah, exactly.
That's what got him going.
Allie saying, love the red on you, Miranda.
Thank you. I just did
Natasha, sorry for missing that one. You should be. That's okay. We'll forget. Fun fact, I have Miranda's art on my body. Ooh. I have a fun fact too. I have some Miranda's art here with me. So
like on your person.
It's not on my body.
I'm like, you don't have a tattoo of my work.
I have some Miranda's art with me here too, which I'm going to show off here in a moment. But
Tanith has a tattoo of your artwork?
She does, actually. She does. And she designed it as well. She helped with designing it too. So when it comes down to with the help of the lovely tattooist Amber, Rosie Quinn Cosplays.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We were talking about Rosie earlier.
Yeah, she finished the piece. She made it come to life. And Tanith helped design it actually with me. So it was a lot of fun. I love designing stuff for people, especially if they have input on what they want and they're particular, because I love being particular.
How does one get some of Tiny's art? You're going to find out this week. I'm quite sure. That's why we have her on the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this a little bit later. But this is a fantastic segue because you obviously you're an artist. You have some crazy art. I feel like you met a lot of the people anyway in this chat tonight though through cosplay.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely say socially, my con experience expanded through cosplay. Artist Alley was getting to know the people on the other side of the tables and just that world. And then cosplay got me to meet everybody really. Like after you go to cons for so many years, even when you're walking down the street, you'll be like, do I know you? Do we go to the same convention every year? Like we may not be friends, but I see your face every year. So you have to go to the same conventions as me. So
yeah, I get shit all
cosplay
the time.
definitely.
I'll have friends come to London and then we'll go out to like a restaurant or we'll go to like Lens Mill shopping or whatever. And then like every single time, at least 2 or 3 people will be like, "You're that guy that did that Negan guy for a while." I'm like, yeah. And they're like, "Who? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, what?" But you're right. It's like the ultimate social network, right? Because we're all
It is.
like-minded individuals playing dress up every weekend for fucking years on end. So of course we're all
It's
gonna
true.
like run into each other, right?
It's true. And even if you don't cosplay, you're just like a merch collector or you collect comics, you're at a weekend gathering full of like-minded people.
Yeah, you're in
Like
the world.
everyone there is for the same thing. It's actually why I love conventions. Every
So
person
what
in that
was your-
building.
What was your into the community? Because I feel like it was art first and then cosplay and then sort of back with the focus to art. Is that a
Totally.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
totally.
what was some of the early stuff that you would have worked on that then got you to be like, hey, this is pretty good. Like people are interested in my stuff. How do I get involved in a con to go and show my stuff off?
Like actually selling, like when it came to the con,
like
I could sell my work.
To that point? Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't me. I actually, I have a brain that tells me I'm not good at anything. So I would never actually put myself out there. But it was my family and my friends that were really supportive. And my family were just like, your stuff is good. Like, you should be here. You should be showing your stuff. You should be getting feedback. Like, it wasn't necessarily you could be selling your work. It was people could be seeing your work and you could be getting feedback. And that's invaluable as an artist. So I was 18, my first table I ever got in Artist Alley. And it was the greatest experience, like opening up that kind of experience, that world, that feedback from people who are industry professionals, and then people who just love art or love comics or love geekdom or love art in general.
What was the event for that first Artist Alley experience that you
Fan
had?
Expo. It was Fan Expo.
Jesus, web girl, you did not fuck around, did you?
It was Fan Expo.
I remember, when I met you in London, I think your mom was like working your booth with you.
Yeah,
she was absolutely your biggest cheerleader. So was she with you at that initial Fan Expo experience?
Oh yeah, my mom and my brother were always there.
What was that like? That because Fan Expo is like it's bonkers. It's bananas. Like
Fan Expo was so the first year that I was there. I feel like maybe this is my memory romanticizing everything. The aisles were bigger and the spaces were larger to get around, and everyone had a very spacious yet still a tight knit feeling in the building. So I would be at my table, but I would still be walking and talking with my neighbors and getting to know those artists. And it was very social and very open, like truly a positive experience. And I was right by the doors as well. So when the doors would open up, the crowd would walk in and I would be right there. So even that experience was, you'd think that's crazy, but at the same time I was like, this is awesome. Everyone's walking through so happy and so excited to be at this convention. And they might just stop by my table and also smile when they look at my work. And they might even take it home. Or they might say something cool about it. And that was the best kind of introduction to selling my work, because it was in such a positive and welcoming environment that surely only cons can provide, I feel, from my experience.
Do you feel in that, especially in that first con, did you get some of that feedback that you were hoping to get as far as your work goes? And then were you able to actually sell some pieces? Like it seems like it went very well for you.
Yeah, it did. My first year went so well, and I came back almost recurrently, like every year, like yearly, I came back to the same. Sometimes I would get the same booth until they would eventually change the layout from just the south building to the north building and then back and forth. So sometimes I couldn't reserve my table, but I would even reserve the exact same table so that people could find me every year.
They knew you were there.
Yeah. The first year I missed a spot, someone messaged me and they're like, I didn't find you at your spot. Are you at your spot? 16.
Yeah. Scott saying I actually bought a Spider-Man bookmark from Miranda's table in 2016. Still have it, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So 2016, would that have been that first year?
No, my first year was 2009.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what
Well,
Fan
so she
Expo
said
was
she was
like back
18.
then. Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah,
Fan
I was
Expo was like
18.
back then.
18 years
It
old.
was
You're at the biggest show in the
awesome.
country with your first booth ever, encouraged by your family and friends to do it.
Yeah.
And then after that, you just kept on coming back show after show after show.
Basically, until there was a couple years I missed, and then when COVID hit, I really took a step back from doing tables. But for a really long period of time, I was at the same spot in Artist Alley every year until the map changed, and then I was at that same spot every year, and then the map changed, but it was, yeah, it's definitely the place that I kept going back for a reason, and that's because it was positive every single time. So
now, did you do Toronto Comic Con as well, or just like
totally.
in March, or did you did Fan Expo and Toronto Comic Con? Yeah.
I did do Toronto Comic Con. I did that 3 or 4 times, and then I did the Christmas show once, if not twice.
Well, I think it only happened twice.
Yeah. Okay, so it was those two years then.
It was definitely not. Yeah, it wasn't as recurring as they were kind of hoping it to be. And then, of course, like I said, I met you at London Comic Con. So clearly, after that, you started to branch out from outside Toronto. So what other shows do you remember distinctly were like that, like outside of Toronto, like that was a great show, or this was a positive experience? Like, do you remember specific shows that really?
London for sure. London for sure. I would say is at top my list for positive experiences. The year I went, the stage for the guests was kind of in the middle of the convention floor, and it felt really just welcoming and casual. There was couches for them to sit and chill. The vendors could see from where they're tabling. Some of Artist Alley could see from their viewpoint. And you got to be like really up close and tight knit with the celebs that were there, but not be boxed into a room kind of tight knit feeling. So I really loved that experience because it was so flow and casual. And that's when I met William Shatner, actually. So that was a really positive experience for me.
So that was when it was still at the Western Fair.
I guess so.
Yeah, in London. They've since changed the venue for that show. But yeah, I remember when they brought Shatner in. It was only like the second or third year London Comic Con was even a thing. Maybe only the second year. And the whole city went fucking bananas for Bill Shatner being at London Comic Con. We were like, what? Our little
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was so surely like when people, one of my favorite experiences meeting someone was William Shatner for sure.
What made it so special? Like what was so cool about getting to interact with him?
Other people might have a memory of this. It was during a Q&A, and I was really close to the stage, and I walked up with the mic and I asked him, I told him I'm an artist and you're an artist in many different forms. What advice would you give to an artist after all your experiences that you've had in so many different forms of art? What experience would you give an artist pursuing their art? And he told me to remember that when I was a child, I had a voice in me that knew who I was. And that voice never goes away, no matter how old we get. And as long as I listen to that voice that knows who I am and knows what I love and what I love to pursue and love to do, then I'm going to be fine. So if that voice in me says I'm an artist and I'm a painter, I'm an illustrator, then that's what you should be doing because that's the voice that's guiding you. And that was like, nothing could ever top that moment. I was like, well, like,
yeah, that's the pinnacle of my celeb interactions right there. Like, how are you going to get any life advice from Bill Shatner? Does he talk like Kirk in real life? He does not. No, he absolutely does not. There isn't any of the dramatic pauses. Yeah, he doesn't have any of that. Yeah, just a super nice dude. I do remember being at that show, and I'm taller than the average. I'm not like a hugely tall guy, but I'm a little bit taller than the average bear. So I'm like, I got my phone up like this, taking picture of Bill Shatner from like afar, and this like 100-year-old security guard comes over. He's like, "Mr. Shatner doesn't want any pictures." I'm like, "Stop me, old man!" Like I'm just clicking. So I have a bunch of pictures like this of me taking pictures of Bill Shatner.
You should go through those and see if I'm in the crowd at all.
You might very well be. Yeah. You might very well be. 2009.
Eric says on his flip phone.
Hey. Listen, asshole. Anyways, so 2009, you start vending. You're going through these cons. You're getting to experience the con from that side of the table. So what happened to make you want to experience the con from the other side of the table in a costume? How does that begin? How do you transition?
I
because
feel
you
like
weren't
that's
doing it
a
when
story
you
we don't
started.
see often, right? Is the
Yeah.
vendors becoming cosplayers? You see a lot of the opposite, but
Yeah.
yeah, you know.
Truthfully, honestly, artistic burnout. I got to a point drawing and illustrating and painting where I wasn't pleased with anything that I was creating, and I wanted to still be artistic and still be an artist and still create stuff, but in a different form that maybe I could be more relaxed in. It was new to me. I didn't have so much pressure on myself because I don't have standards for my cosplay. I'm a beginner. So I was just like, I can experiment in this field and still create and still paint and still design. But I don't have to have that worry of, oh no, this painting is looming over me and I think it looks so bad, I'm going to destroy it or I'm going to delete it. So it was a very freeing jump to still do my art and still express what I like to do. And so when I paint and when I draw, I like to paint and draw what I like. And that's how I approached cosplay of I'm just going to cosplay who I want and who I like, regardless of it matches me or not. So I had.
What was the first one then?
The comedian from Watchmen was my very first cosplay.
Yeah, it was.
It's my my number one, the only cosplay that when I say I'll never cosplay again, I don't include the comedian in that because I always want to cosplay the comedian.
Yeah, me too. So I mentioned to the pre-show guys that Miranda and I share a cosplay, and you guys are probably thinking, how is that even possible? And by the way, I also said we both slay it because we both do. I think she slays a little harder than I do, but yes, we both cosplay the comedian. So I don't know. Have we ever been to a con where we were both a comedian at the same time though?
Once. No, you were in Negan.
I didn't think we had comedian at the same time.
We had JDM'd on the same day.
JDM'd on the same day. Actually, I think that might have been at London Comic Con, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so too, actually.
Yeah.
That
so if you're telling me this isn't retired, even though that you're retired, if you're telling me that isn't retired, then I think we have to fix
this cosplay in existence. That cosplay itself is gone.
Yes.
It's not even in my closet. It's not even in my closet anymore. Only the pin still remains, of course.
I'm like, well, if you're never going to retire that, we'll have to dual comedian at some point. But it's already.
It's already gone because I want to do it again, and I want to do it even better, and I want to actually have it sewn. And that one was held together by safety ties, those plastic safety ties in certain areas. So I definitely want to sew something and make
we
something
got to do
real.
what we got to do. Geek Pool asking, like, kind of what you've already sort of touched on a little bit. What inspires you to cosplay a character, the character itself, the actor who portrayed the character, or something else? So ultimately, because of course you didn't just cosplay the comedian, you cosplayed quite a few different characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What happens for you to decide I want to cosplay that particular character, regardless of whether it matches or not? Who cares? Because we preach it all the time here. Cosplay is for everyone. We don't give a shit how that works.
Usually it's just that person's a badass. I want to be them. I want to beat them. It doesn't, and they don't necessarily not legit, but they have so much confidence, or they're such a badass, or they're so cool. I want to be that cool. Let's put on a cosplay.
Or they're a complete and utter piece of shit, like the comedian, but still a badass. So we can still do that, right? So,
and I could go into a full philosophical conversation on Watchmen and the comedian and why he is who he is and why we relate to him.
You and I could fill an hour talking about just the comedian.
Absolutely.
I get it, but by the end of that, there would be 2 people watching. We would just bleed people. They're like, they're still talking about Watchmen.
About one character in Watchmen.
Yeah. One character in Watchmen. Yeah.
One
Complete
character.
Deconstruction of Eddie Blake. Do you mind if we show off some of your cosplay stuff here? I mean, we did just look at the comedian, but I know there's another character that you seem to have a pretty good connection with, especially based on the flag that you've got there behind you. Obviously, Miss Harley was a big inspiration for you. This is your Christmas version of that. Now, was this at the Fan Day show?
It was, yeah. That's actually where I met a bunch of people in cosplay too. Like some of my best friends now I met at that convention in that cosplay. So Harley is special to me, honestly, because I met a lot of friends who were also dressed as Harley at the same convention. So it was like, oh, hi, my people.
And I feel like you've done Harley multiple times. Yes?
Yeah, I've definitely had fun with different looks. even my own hair just for fun. She's fun. She's freeing. She's liberating. She gives no shits.
Yeah, and because she has so many different looks, it's I feel it's easier to approach, right? Like you can
Totally.
if you don't like that look, well, maybe you'll like this look or that look, or you know.
And she has her gang of Harleys at one point too, right? Harley and her gang of Harleys. So there is a Harley out there for you. Even and
even then,
just
you can like mix and match too. You can like this piece from that concept and that piece from that costume, and then just do your own little Harley mashup or whatever. Because none of us are slaves to accuracy. Just do it any fucking way you want to do it, right? It's not like nobody's gonna know that you're not Harley, right?
Yeah, she's so recognizable that even if you mix and match stuff,
that's what I'm saying.
People will still know it's
so
Harley.
many different ways that you can do it.
Thank you.
Did you do a lot of your own makeup work too, Miranda?
Always.
Or did you get somebody to you did, eh?
Yeah.
Good on you, because I always had to have help. So that's good on you. Because that was
just painting on my face versus painting on a canvas.
And then did you get into prop building and stuff too, or was that not something you were interested in?
A little bit I did, but it's definitely an art that requires patience and skill and time to work on and perfect. And I decided I do not want to do that. And so I'll hire other people to make some incredible props. Because it's truly an art
exactly.
form. Yeah. Everybody can't do everything. So I can't build incredible props that look like they're from movies, but I know a bunch of people who can. So if I ever need one, I go to the people who are.
I got more money than time, man. And when the money's gone, I can make more money. But when the time's gone, it's just gone. So
and guaranteed what I make is going to be not the greatest, but whoever I get to commission my work, it's going to be top tier, incredible.
Well, just because I was looking at the mallet that you had, like that Christmas mallet that you had with the Christmas Harley. Did you make that, or did somebody make that for you?
I wrapped it in wrapping paper, but someone else made that mallet.
Yeah, see, so it was a collaborative event. That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but someone else built that mallet. It was for someone else's costume, and then they gifted it to me. So yeah, the only thing I've ever done is paint props. Like I'll get guns and I'll paint them custom, or that's about it. When I would source from Dollarama. If I ever got back to
every cosplayer's best friend, right?
Yeah,
like no shame in that game.
No,
100%.
Yeah, Dollarama supports so much my cosplays.
Got a Dollarama gun right here.
Yeah, dude. See? I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm good at making hammers. You are in fact good at making hammers, Eric. You are in fact good at making hammers. So obviously, I think it's safe to say that the Comedian was probably your favorite cosplay. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
same. If Negan's you had to pick, I was just gonna say we both done Negan's as well. If you had to, so that's the second one. All right, you know what? I'm just not gonna ask questions, Mariah.
That's the second one. That's the second one.
So JDM and then JDM.
Yes.
I see a pattern here.
Yeah.
What about the least? I never asked people this, but what was your least favorite costume to either put together or wear or experience in or whatever? Did you have one that you were like, that just didn't work, or I was miserable in that or whatever?
I did a punk Sailor Pluto, and it was fun because I had friends also in cosplay with me, but I didn't know how to put on a wig. My regular hair was popping out in every picture. I had no idea what honestly it was the wig. The costume itself was also kind of weird. But that experience with the wig, I was like, you cannot do wigs. Just accept your defeat. Accept your defeat. You can't do it. We all
have limitations. For me, it's wigs.
For me, it's wigs. If someone else put it on me and styled my hair and did it, maybe then. But yeah, it's the work. And then trying to take care of them.
Dude, I have a wig witch.
Horrible.
I like buy the wig and then I ship it immediately to her place and I pay her to style the wig because I know I'm gonna be dead shit at doing it. So
a wig witch
with the props, right? I have a wig witch. Yeah. She's been on the podcast. Erica was on the podcast a couple of times, and there's make no bones. I just in my Amazon, if it's a wig, it immediately goes right to her house, and then I just send her money and she gives me the wig.
She receives a random wig.
She's just like, oh, there's a wig in the mail. It must be Jeff's, and then I send her reference photos and she styles.
Hey Jeff, is that your wig?
Yeah, she knows. That's my weave. Yeah. Make my weave look good. That's all I need, man. I'm not. Wigs fucking suck. Yeah, sometimes, man. Sometimes. It's things. Wigs take time to learn how to do.
It's
to
absolutely
put on to stay all day. And it's another one of those things, just like everything else with your cosplaying a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's constricting and it's hot and it's fucking sweaty and it's messy.
I always say there's people who have talents for things. I do not have talents for wigs. Other people have talents for wigs. That's my limitation.
Exactly.
I accept my limitations.
Yes. You know what? You've accepted it. You've moved on. There's nothing wrong with that. Your Punisher,
staying here. Yeah, your Punisher, though.
We're both just still clicking on the same thing. Hold on. Let's keep doing this so many times that we can.
I guess you've done a couple versions of the Punisher, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I really like cosplaying Frank. It's fun. The face paint one was probably my favorite to wear, just because I love the face paint and I could find me in any group picture. I could be this big and I'm like, there I am, because my face is painted.
Am I remembering like a gold?
Yes, I did do a gold. I did a gold Punisher after that one.
Yeah, I thought so. That I thought was badass. That was.
I like that
cool.
one too.
Yeah, that one's really cool. Like I know you don't have the face mask, but something about that. It's all like clean lines. You know exactly what you're doing.
I don't know why I decided gold Punisher, but I was like, why not? I really wanted gold guns. I have a thing for gold guns, and I was like,
that
Did it perhaps come from the gold T-shirt, having the gold Punisher T-shirt?
Oh no, that T-shirt was the Punisher T-shirt from the cosplay you just saw, and then I painted it gold on top.
Oh wow, okay.
And it looks like you even kind of distressed it a bit, the way Frank would have it, basically. And yeah, that was I really, really dug that take on the Punisher because I hadn't seen that before, so that was very, very cool.
Thank you. Yeah. That one I would definitely be like, I think I would try something like that again. It's different. It's new. It's
It's cool when you can kind of like take your own take on it and like twist it around a little bit. People still know exactly what you're doing. Like there's no question that you're still doing the Punisher there. It's a Punisher they've never seen before. So that's not easy to pull off, man. Like that's hard to do when people still know what the thing is. But thankfully, you've got that iconic icon.
I was going to say, I'm like, the iconic symbol is kind of a giveaway of
Yep.
You were talking about face paint a little bit earlier. You actually sent me a bunch of pictures of face paint.
Yeah. I want to give you some options.
Now, I'll bring this one up for starters. Is this something you were just doing for fun? Like just for Instagram? Or did you actually cosplay a lot of these?
No, I just did this for fun for Instagram. This was during COVID, actually. During like the start of COVID, when we were all locked inside. And what am I going to do to pass my day? Well, I can paint my face.
And are you drawing all those lines by hand?
Yeah, with an eyeliner, with a liquid eyeliner.
Wow.
To do. So I did the outline first, and then I painted it in.
She's an artist.
Yeah.
So
I first did the middle line.
How long does this take?
That took me about like an hour.
Fuck off.
What?
No, that took me about an hour.
That's it?
Yeah, so you start by dividing your face. So I first did the middle line, and then I did the cheek lines. Right. And then once I placed everything, like my guides, basically, like where the tops and bottoms of each diamond or spike was, it was basically playing connect the dots on your face. And then you just take a big brush and you fill in the spots.
Oh, you make it sound so easy.
Yeah.
And I hear that people like artists all the time. They're like, just draw it. You just start drawing.
Just draw.
You should see me fucking draw. Trust me, there's no hope. I can practice drawing for 1,000 years. It's never going to be good.
It's weird. In my brain, I can like almost erase the black, like the color, and just see the outline and be like, okay, though, that's a dot, that's a dot, that's a dot, that's a dot.
Good
and I draw the dots on my face and then connect them. So that's like the best way.
You might have wig limitations. You clearly do not have any art limitations. That's for fucking
Thank
sure.
you.
This is such a fabulous look, is saying Redmond Glassworks. Brian360 saying awesome. Bob.
I'm assuming to talk about Scar that's on screen right now for those listening in. This is bonkers.
Thank you. I definitely.
Is this COVID as well, or is this pre or post? That's
all my face paint stuff started because of COVID. Locked inside the house, had to paint my face, had to entertain myself, and
there's worse ways.
I don't know about anyone else, but I also, especially for my favorite movies, I'll recite the lines or I'll speak with the movie sometimes. I don't even realize I'm doing it. And Scar was repeating in my head over and over again, just his attitude as I'm surrounded by idiots and his lack for like, just his interactions. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to paint my face like Scar because I have him living in my head today. And I really wanted to embody that, I don't know, that feeling. And COVID also gave you that feeling of just
And are you
another
like,
day.
is that Marin stuff? Is that Ben Nye stuff? Like, what are you using for the face paint for like the mall and the scar and all that jazz?
For the mall, I used watercolor paint. And I Googled, can I use watercolor paint on my face? And I used eyeshadow and eyeliner, like liquid eyeliner for mall.
Oh,
and then for scar, I used bronzer powders and eyeshadows and liquid eyeliner. And then I also used mascara that I lengthened with water on a brush.
Wow.
Almost sometimes, there was a good period of time where I didn't use any face paint because I didn't want to buy any. So I just started to experiment with what I had in my drawers.
Shit. All right. Okay. Okay.
And it works. And it works.
It absolutely works.
It works. And then for something like this one, now the Lucifer is completely digital. Just me experimenting with cosplay in a completely different approach. So I still dressed up, but I didn't want to do the full face paint look. But I still wanted to be creative and paint and draw. So I decided to merge.
So the shirt is real.
Yeah, so the shirt is real and I'm real. Like I could
and
go
that's
with my
your hair, but then a lot of the effects that we're seeing is you've added in digitally.
Yeah, I can actually do it right now and show you guys. I have layers that are my photograph, and then the background photo, my photograph, and then the layers of paint that build up the scar, like the scar tissue of his face. Okay. So my picture is still there. I just paint over it.
Huh. So that's just you looking at the camera in that outfit, and then you're just layering on top of that. I'd be so good at art, dude.
I'm just painting on top of
it. Like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I have no skill in that arena at all.
So
I see people doing art, and I just get awestruck.
This is the OG photo. I don't know if you guys can see that because it's so bad. Ooh, there we go.
Oh, well, not anymore.
Yeah, so, oops.
It's a little bit washed out, but not.
Yeah, it's a little bit washed out. Yeah, I can't
so you do have some makeup on. Like, you did put something on.
Yeah, right? So I have... So I'm clear skinned in the photo. I wish I could show this to you guys right now. Yeah. Now I'm washed. It's washing out. Yeah, so it's a regular photo that I superimposed the Lucifer existing poster background in the background. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers on top of that are me painting the scars.
That's wild.
And it was because I didn't want to paint my face. But I still wanted to.
That seems like a lot quicker and easier to do, but I don't know. Again, I'm not an artist, so I don't have.
It definitely.
You touched on it a little bit. I mean, painting is your thing, right? Like, even like you were saying, if I'm buying dollar store stuff, I'll paint it, but I won't make it. Painting is your medium, I suppose.
Definitely. It's definitely the thing that when people ask you, like, close your eyes, where do you see yourself? I'm like, I'm painting. It's my place, my medium. Even so, regardless of what form it comes to me, I like to paint. I think that's why I got into cosplay, because it was presented to me in a way, like through Jeff's Comedian and through Loki Quinn's cosplays as well. I saw them as artistic adventures, not costumes. So it wasn't like I was sewing and I was learning how to sew, because that's daunting. It was, no, you're being creative and you're creating something to make a character come to life. And I was like, oh, well, I make things come to life on paper. I could experiment with making things come to life on me, seeing how that goes.
And at the end of the day, I feel like it's the same reaction that you're sort of looking to get, because you want your paintings to make people happy, to have an emotional reaction from them. When they see your art, you want people to be moved and inspired by your art. And then when we do the cosplays, it feels the exact same way. You're doing it so people are going to feel emotionally connected to you based on that fandom or based on whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
So then you've kind of transitioned back into getting more so into the art focus as opposed to the cosplay focus.
Definitely.
And it looks like. So no, go ahead, Miranda. Go ahead.
No, please.
This is. And it looks like you've sort of transitioned between ink and paper or paint and paper, and now you're moving more towards the digital side of things. Are you still doing
traditional?
Are you still doing? Yeah. Is that what it's called now? Traditional versus digital? Is that kind of what it is?
Yeah, traditional.
Do you still do some traditional stuff?
Absolutely. Like, this is all my ink paints in here. That's what these guys are. I definitely say digital is faster. I can get things out quicker. I can work faster. I don't have to wait for drying times or scanning or anything like that. But for my own personal work, I've started to now go back into doing some traditional paintings. So I'll still do professional work digitally, but for my own personal endeavors, even if I'm going to sell them in the future, I am going back to traditional painting just because it's, I don't know, I like the idea just like of having a book, of having something you can hold in your hand. And a print can do that, totally. A print can totally do that. But sometimes it's nice to see the painting and have the painting in your hand and be like, oh, like I did that.
I agree. A print can do that.
Yeah.
So this is how I met Miranda, by the way, guys. She had this up in her booth at London Comic Con. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, how the hell, do you know how hard it is to do faces? But a face with the smile, and it looks exactly like her. And I was like, how in the balls did you capture this so brilliantly? And then she was nice enough to personalize it for me. Oh, this finger, everything's reversed here. To personalize it for me. And so I've had this piece the whole time. This is from 2017. So I've had this piece for 7 years. I've had this piece. And I was like, I should go grab this for the podcast. I knew exactly where it was. I had to take it out of its film so I could keep it. That's why it still looks colorful and looks good like that. Because I have it in Mylar. I've had it in Mylar the whole time. It's held up very, very well.
Now that was a print of an artwork. Is that what that was?
That's a print of one of my ink paintings.
Yeah. So that was an actual ink painting that you scanned and then did prints of.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's
but it's so good, and the colors are still so vibrant on it 7 years later. Again, I've taken very good care of it. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I love this piece, and I'm glad that you were able to hook me up with it. Megan was asking, did you go to school for art, or was it something that you've always done, or both?
Both. Something that I've always done. Something that, you know, my mom would always say, from you were yay big, you could hold a pencil, you were holding a pencil kind of stories. So I've always been drawing, and I've always been doing art. But then I went to high school that was focused on the arts, and that was in Scarborough. Shout out to Wexford. So that was my high school experience, where I got art 50% of my school load. And then after high school, I went to college for illustration. And then after college for illustration, I've pursued online courses for help, like Bobby Chu. I think Imaginarium, I think is the name of the schoolism. I think it's called Schoolism. That was an online courses that I love taking. They're incredible teachers. So both something I've always done and something that I continue to get education on, actually, because I can always learn. And I can, like, I'm always I think as artists, we're always growing and learning. And if I'm not being taught something new, then I'm not growing. So I'm constantly trying to get online at programs still to this day, just because I want to learn and get better.
I feel like that's kind of a common thing with artists, is if you're not learning, you feel stagnant, and then you kind of lose that drive to want to do more, because why would I redo the same thing, right? I want to do better. I want to do something different. I want to do something new. Yeah. Megan's saying I went to Wexford too.
Wexford's the best.
I guess our boy Andre Ferguson, Scarborough, shout out Scarborough. Tanith is saying she's seen you do quick comic sketches for people at events, and it was incredible to see her work.
Oh, thank you. Those were fun, actually. Yeah, I don't do those regularly. I usually do them if an event has that happening, like it's a live sketch event. So that's why I'm there. And those are challenging because they push me to work on the spot and just trust my gut and just draw. Whereas when I'm doing my thing at home, I just relaxing, do my own thing. I have no time constraints and no one's watching me. So as I'm happy that people like what I make for them at those events, because at the moment, sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, I have how many minutes? What do I have to draw for you again? Oh my goodness, what do they look like? Even though I know the character and I remember them and I know, but they're challenging. Whenever something is asked to do on the spot, it's always a challenge, but it's fun.
Yeah, especially since they're right there watching you do it. Like,
yeah.
Hi, I want this thing, and you're going to do it for me right now. Were your parents artistically inclined as well? Either one of your parents do, or is...
Yeah. My mom's a singer. My mom has a gorgeous voice. And my aunt is also, she did stained glass for a while. My brother was artistically inclined as well in some ways. I mean, we all even to this day, I'll catch my family members, like my mom, my aunt, doodling and drawing or something, even when on the phone. So I feel like it's something that is just in my family.
Is baked in, it sounds like, right? Especially since you're talking, you've been doing it since you could hold a pen, right? Or a pencil.
Yeah.
You've been doing it since then. Well, someone had to put that pencil in your hand, right?
True. Yeah. And they would argue and be like, "Oh, I'm just doodling," and I'm like, "That's art. That's art. You're making art.
That is. Yeah,
it totally is.
Yeah.
What are the type of things that inspires you to do different things and keep going, or the type of characters that you're choosing to, whether it be portray as a cosplayer or draw?
Definitely the media that I'm consuming. So whether it be a book that I'm reading, or a film that's inspired me, or a series, or an artist's work on a certain comic collection, or even sometimes history itself, like real world events and stuff that inspire me to want to create or capture. So definitely, and definitely when I say the media I consume, it could be something that I watched yesterday, or it could be something like Batman Returns that I've watched every year since the very first time I've ever watched it. And it's a Christmas ritual. So it's not a single year that goes by that I don't see Batman Returns on Christmas now. So they're in my brain. So
I'm assuming this is a digital piece, yes?
Of course, yeah. This is digital. Yeah.
And I like how you're saying, of course, like I have any fucking idea what I'm talking about.
No, you
like,
do. You can tell. You can tell.
Dude, of course it's digital. I'm like, I have zero idea.
Well, can we talk about it for a quick second?
Thank you.
In there, because I have no idea.
Yeah, like how do you even start constructing something like that? Like, I've never worked with digital, but I've seen other people work with it, and I'm always fascinated by when I see them like layering, right? Like they'll start with the sketch, and then they'll go with their lines, and then they fill in with the colors, and then it's just layers upon layers. Is that kind of how you work it as well?
It is definitely how I work in the beginning, for sure. Layers are super helpful, especially when you're layering. For me, when I do a painterly approach, so I'm layering shadows and light constantly and playing with those layered effects of colors and shadows and light. And I usually cap my work between 10 to 15 layers max, just because if I have too many, I get lost and I start to get lost to where things are. So I still try to approach digital like I would a regular painting. Like, this is your background. You can have maybe 2 layers of background, but after that, you've overworked it. So keep it there. And then you have your foreground. You can have 2 to 3 layers of foreground, I'm saying to myself. And then you stop there, Miranda, and you continue, because you can get lost if you just keep putting ones of like, this is this line, and this is this nose, and this is this eye, and this is this square inch of this piece of the paint. I've done that before, and I've gone back to visitor work, and I'm like, oh no, where is everything? What was I painting on? What layer was I painting on?
That's a good point. Do you find it easier in digital to not lose your colors? Like when you're layering with real paint, they kind of start blending together, right? Like, do you find it easier not to lose those colors, or for everything not to blend together when you're doing digital?
So when I work digitally, I approach it the same way I would approach my regular work. So my regular work, I work in acrylics, even acrylic inks. So like the piece that Jeff has is acrylic ink. It looks like watercolor, but it's done with ink. So everything is permanent. I can dump a can of water on that painting and nothing will happen to it because it's permanent ink. So I can still layer the colors there without washing away or losing any of my work, because it doesn't budge no matter how many times I put water on it. And digital is the same for me, in the same sense of like, I'm layering down this layer of ink and that's gonna stay. And then I'm putting the next layer of ink on top. So it has the same, I feel like, any artist really should approach digital the same way they approach traditional, in the same sense of like, just do your regular routine. It's just a different tool. So you're still going to do your sketch phase. You're just not going to swap out your pencil to an ink brush or an ink pen when you go to inking. You're still using the same tool. You're just changing it on the pad, what you're using on your iPad or on your Clip Studio Paint or your Procreate. It's definitely helped me with learning digital, because it's a medium that I feel like even regular painting we can learn for the rest of our lives. And there's so many tools in different programs that you can use. But as long as you approach it with the basics of, I know how to draw, I know how to paint, I know my color. I don't have to use all the layers to digitally draw or digitally paint. Like, I feel like it's a medium that people can really can really expose themselves to and get into, and have fast progress with. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You can have fast progress with digital work, quicker than you would with traditional, for sure.
Is there a particular program that you like working in, or a particular medium that you like working? Yeah,
for sure.
Procreate, is that what it's called?
Procreate on iPad, solely for the purpose that my iPad saves immediately. It's annoying in the fact that once I leave my piece, whatever I've done sticks, but I can still go back. Like I can still, all my work is still there saved for me. And no matter if my iPad loses, let's say I work right up to the 0% battery, I'll never lose a painting. It saved it to that last second. So with other programs, if I didn't manually save and it crashes, I've lost all my work. And I forget to save all the time because
and Procreate also stores your history up to X amount of steps too as well. So even if it does crash and you come back, but you want to go
right
back
there.
2 or 3 steps, you can still do that with Procreate.
Yeah, it's so user friendly. It's like, it's so user friendly. If anyone was considering doing digital drawing, I'd be like, Procreate. No,
your Argonauts here.
Those are oil painting.
Big Lord of the Rings fan here. I was just gonna ask, like, because I've got the full res version, and it looks like traditional art, not
it
digital.
is. It's about this big, yay big. It's like a 4x6, and it's oil painting. And I did it with a very small brush and my pinky finger.
Oh,
so
really?
A tiny brush and then my pinky finger is how I did. Other than the 2 kings themselves and the boats that I
tiny Amazon using a tiny brush and her tiniest finger
to paint. So like the robes of them, it was dots of paint, and then I took my fingers and I rubbed them down to get those lines. Instead of going individually with a brush paint and doing each and every line, I used my fingers to do that. Just any tool that works. Any tool that works. It could come from Dollarama. It could be your fingers. Any tool that works.
First, Victoria is saying, now this piece is bonkers. And now she can say, all I can say is, what the fuck? So,
I mean, Victoria, you ain't seen nothing yet. You just wait, because there are a couple here that are just absolutely unbelievable.
Oddly enough, you know who inspired that piece other than Lord of the Rings itself? The artists that you see on the street who have a piece of glass in their hand, and with their fingers, they're painting these gorgeous landscapes. And within 3 seconds, everything's clean and done. They give it to you.
Yeah, bonkers, right?
I watched them.
And
I was like, okay, if you can create that with your fingers, I'm going to try doing some stuff, because look at what you're doing.
Talking about bonkers.
This is
one of my favorite pieces.
I don't even have any words.
Yeah, I would put this on my wall. Like this is
Thank you.
How big is this piece?
This one is 8.5 by 11, but because I've saved it properly, I can actually print it much larger now. So I'm actually hoping.
Can you make it like 4 foot wide?
Yeah, actually, that's my next endeavor in printing, is actually printing my work to be large canvas pieces, and then me going in and traditionally adding new highlights or pieces or details. So you still get a hand
this in like multiple canvases to make
totally can do that too. Oh, absolutely, totally can do that too.
So can you give us some insight into this particular piece, Miranda? Is this a traditional piece or is this a digital piece?
This is a traditional piece. This was done with acrylic ink and regular acrylics, so mostly acrylic ink. I feel like you can tell when they're. I definitely think you have an eye for telling between digital and traditional. You can tell. And
I can't
this one
anything. I could just tell what I like. Listen, I don't know art, but I know what I like. And I like this piece, Miranda. This is fucking phenomenal.
Thank you.
This might be my favorite piece of yours. Or at least
I can tell you how I created it.
I can tell you how I created it. Details. Please do.
It was my favorite moment in the Wonder Woman film is when she's going across no man's land, and when she's taking fire so that they can go past her. I loved this shot of her because it just shows her strength and she's strong like a tree. She will not, as Peggy says in Marvel, she does not move. She stays strong like a tree. I know I'm crossing my fandoms there with Marvel and DC.
No, it's all good.
But they love each other. Let's admit it. And when I first approached this, like I blocked out her shapes of how I knew what her silhouette would look like. And then I covered her area, her shape, with masking tape. And I painted the background completely. I did all the background elements first and of No Man's Land. And then after that dried, I peeled off the masking tape, like just normal masking tape, that made out her shapes of her arm and the shield and her legs. And then I painted her in the shape that I saved. And that's how I created that piece. I actually love talking about this piece because it's the one that I used masking tape to block out her shape.
And it feels like there's like 4 colors in this piece. Like it feels like it's very like, it's obviously blues and greens and teals. And I know there's more than 4 colors, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the way it hits your eye, it looks just the way that the center blue pops off and how it gets complemented by the teal and the green in the back. It really feels like it's almost like a 3-dimensional pick. Like it has depth based on the color choices that you made and how you centered her right there. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but that's what I look at it. That's what I see.
What you're seeing is real.
Yeah.
It's legit. I approached it in that way with the blues and the layers of the teals because that's what our human eye does when we look at things in the distance. So if you look at a forest, let's say like our gorgeous landscapes here in Ontario, the foreground is very crisp to us. And then our eyes will then blur out the rest and it'll get more and more blue as closer it gets further away from us. And that's what I played upon for this piece. I was like, well, if that's how our human eye works, I'll use those shades to imitate the depth of No Man's Land, but with very minimal detail. So I didn't want to have too many details in the background of like soldiers and whatnot. I just wanted to have just a faint understanding of where you were and have her be the focus.
Yeah. And you've done that really, really well.
Thank you.
Tanith is saying she loves this one. Victoria, to be good at art is one thing. To be able to portray such emotion in your art is another thing entirely. Wowie, wow, wow. Our good friend Collaborated Cosplay, who you may know as Groot in London. How much? Take my money. I'd buy that for my wife. That question's come up a bunch of times in here, Miranda.
Yeah.
So I know we're kind of getting close to the end anyways. If someone is interested in purchasing your art, how do they go about doing that?
At the moment, the best way would be to personally contact me through the email that's on my Instagram page or through a DM on Instagram. An email will get you a faster reply. Just honestly, I'll reply faster to emails. And then soon in the future, right now, I'm working on establishing my online store. So I'll slowly be rolling out collections of prints. And then after that, I'll be posting up original paintings for sale. And then after that, large canvas prints will be available where they're printed digital work. And then I've gone in and done hand painted elements on the piece. So you still get a one of a kind.
Right.
Other people can buy the prints of the existing digital work, but the canvas piece will be a one of a kind blend of that digital piece and my hand painted work coming together.
Interesting. I've never seen that done before. That's really cool.
That's my next venture. That's what I'm playing with right now, experimenting with right now is how can I blend my digital and my traditional. And also the other
you're having to print on canvas.
Yeah. So I'll print my digital pieces on canvas for it to be, it'll be stretched on canvas after it's digitally printed. And then once the canvas is brought to me, I'll by hand do acrylic paints on top to either give more dimension or layers or add a completely new element or do something custom, depending on what the person likes. I like to have the idea of having more options for one-of-a-kind pieces of art. So having things at all different price points so that you can still have a piece of art from me that you love, but if you want something that's larger or bigger or more personalized, of course I'll also have that available.
That was going to be my question. Do you do custom pieces as well?
Absolutely. I'm open to all kinds of custom pieces. It could be integrating an old piece into a new piece. It could be something brand new. It could be something you say like, hey, I like what you did here. Can you do this thing for this idea? And I'll be like, sure.
Do you have any boundaries as far as what you'll do for custom pieces or commission work or anything like that?
Yeah, totally. I would say I'm a PG-13 kind of artist.
Okay.
I definitely am adult in the sense that like I have a piece of a woman who's pregnant with a galaxy and she's topless. And I had it at a convention and people loved it. It's a beautiful piece of art. It's just a nude lady.
Yeah.
But for other people, it was, oh my goodness, how can you display that? You should be ashamed of yourself.
Right.
So what I put out there is definitely PG-13 so that it's accessible to everyone, especially after those experiences of creating very tame art that's just the natural human form and it not being accepted by the everyday audience. So I'll definitely do something as long as it's respectful, as long as it's in good spirits.
But yes, agreed. Absolutely. Yeah.
As long as it's in good spirits, as long as it's respectful, then yeah, I'm totally open for it. If it's something that's completely off the wall, bonkers, R-rated crazy, I'll be like,
as if we all ain't got titties, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
right?
Sam Prudes, right? I get it. Like,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
if you don't mind, what do you have the email there with you, Miranda? Could you just let the folks know what the email address
definitely.
is? Get a hold of you.
It's M as in my first name. .tinyamazon@gmail.com. I can write it out if you. Oh wait, I'll come backwards. Silly me.
No. It'll look backwards for you, but it won't be for the audience. Like your shirt says Buffy on the right
Amazon,
side,
all one word.
Yeah. m.tinyamazon@gmail.com.
There you go. Just posted it in the chat.
So perfect.
Folks,
and then we'll have to have you back on when you've got the store up and running so we can help you promote that. We can talk about the specific pieces.
Do you already have a placeholder for the store?
At the moment, I am looking to either go to Etsy or I am working with someone to put on my own website. I have no idea how to build a website. So I'm working with someone right now to help me do that. And
you and me both.
Yeah. If I can do
you
that,
don't have a URL. You don't have like a shop.
No, not yet.
Amazon.com yet. Okay.
Not yet.
But that let us know when you do.
Yeah, in the process.
Yes.
Miranda.
Yeah.
Do you have a thing for Spawn?
My big brother does. So I definitely love Spawn. I love Todd McFarlane's work. My goodness, it does not. But Spawnuary is happening right now. The Spawn Challenge. The Spawn Challenge of January. Spawnuary. Nice. And my bro is on me every day leading up to this challenge, being like, you're submitting, right? You're submitting. You're going to submit something, right? So thanks to him, I have now submitted 2 pieces and I'm creating a 3rd and I have my 4th underway. Hopefully I can have more submitted for that too. And I think
now,
honestly,
is that based on existing McFarlane work? Like, is that like,
totally.
and you
the first one was a cover.
Yeah, so they're both cover arts.
They are.
Covers.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both covers. That's a cover challenge. The first one was Gunslinger Spawn, and this one's Classic Spawn. But I approach it me way, and as I like to put it, I'm very free with my work. So sometimes, like, this is straight up, this is weird, but I like it and I dig it, and this is me. I'm weird and I like funky colors and bright shapes and I like the idea of this being a flowing image and not necessarily being hard outlines. And even his hand is pure smoke. Like you can see the outline of his hand, but it's not there because it's pure smoke. So I have 2 more pieces coming out for this challenge too. I think the coolest thing about this challenge is that they're seeing my work, and that's cool. Like McFarlane's seeing my work, and that's awesome. So
it's pretty dope.
Yeah, even that knowledge itself is like, now that's cool. Yeah. I can go to bed at night and say, he's seen my stuff.
Seen my stuff.
Exactly. He's seen it. That's so cool. Yeah. He's seen it.
He's probably looking at it right now.
He might be, right?
He might be.
Yeah, I know he's not. No, he's not. Don't worry about it. But I'm a big Spawn fan. I've got Spawn comics on my wall. I've got.
Oh, really?
Spawn #1 through. I don't know what. I've got Spawn statues everywhere.
I was gonna say, is that him behind you?
Yeah, there's one there. There's one there. There's one there. Yeah.
Do you have a particular favorite Spawn, like version of Spawn, or just Spawn?
So I mean, I like Spawn. The medieval style Spawn. They did a mini series, like a 3-part mini series.
The Redeemer Spawn.
I think it was the Redeemer Spawn.
He's cool.
He was pretty cool.
Cool.
But I mean, I'll try to pull him down without breaking anything here.
Yeah, don't break anything. Kids, don't try this at home. He's a trained professional.
Oh wow.
Now this is a custom paint job, FYI. He doesn't actually look like that when you buy him, but and he is also a cover. This is from an actual Spawn cover. He's the dopest. Yeah, he's the of all my Spawn figures, he's by far my favorite one. He's so cool.
It's a baby.
But yeah, I was a huge Spawn fan. I don't really collect comic books anymore. I just don't have time and then the money, and it's just who buys comic books anymore. You know what I mean? Other than Keith, really. We know Keith still buys his, he buys comic books every week, but yeah, you still go out and buy and yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple series I was collecting recently. I'm definitely behind on a couple of them. And they're always the weirdest ones on the shelf, to which I tell my guys at the shop, if you think, who would read this? It's for me. Put it in my bin. There was a Halloween special of Captain America. It was Cap and his Howling Commandos, and they were howling because he was a werewolf. So it was a double. It was just a play on words, double pun. He was a werewolf. They're his Howling Commandos, and I was in stitches, dying, laughing, just pure joy, tears. And
he says, "You say that like it's a bad thing, JS. Not at all, man.
No shame. No shame.
If you guys aren't buying the comic books, they're not going to make them anymore.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's bad enough that comic book stores around the countries have basically all shut down. Like we have very, very few comic book stores anymore. And let's be honest,
I still have one.
The majority of the comic book stores that we have aren't even comic book stores anymore. They're toy stores, right? They sell collectibles and toys and Legos and
there is a really cool comic book store in Scarborough, though. So a legit,
what's it called?
The Scarborough Comic Room.
Really? Okay, I've never even heard of this place.
It used to be called just the Comic Room. It's on Markham. It's by Scarborough Town Center, and they're a legit comic book store. That's all they got is. It's not a toy store. It's not a video game store. It's comics. They'll have action figures. They'll have collectibles. They'll have statues, and they'll have your bin where you can put your comics in your bin. And they're even online too. They're the app Hip Comic, where you can categorize and have all your stuff in one place and know the value of your collection. They're also on that app where you can sync your box to that app, and then they can do stuff at their store. So
really interesting.
That is really cool.
Yeah, Hip Comic's a really cool app. They'll tell you what you got.
Yeah, there's not a ton of real actual comic book shops anymore. Like even like
they have to diversify. And I get it, right?
Yeah, but even like the Silver Snail. Which was probably known for being the biggest comic book shop in Ontario.
True.
I mean, they've got a little room now full of toys, and they sell comics still, but
they do. They're still really big supporters. No, they're really big supporters of indie and local comic book creators. That's for sure. If you want to find something locally done or locally made or Canadian made, go to them or Beguiling, and they'll for sure have your stuff. But I get what you mean, because I remember 1 Million Comics was my spot to go to growing up. That's where I went. And across from them was Greyhaven Comics. And then beside them was another, was Harry Tarantula.
Aren't all three gone?
Harry Tarantula is now north with Third Quadrant Comics on Steels. Steels, and I'm going to forget right now. I'll put it in the chat. If they're still around, they came together with Third Quadrant and they opened up that location. And once again, no longer just comics or graphic novels, they also host gaming nights. So you can play Magic the Gathering or any other tabletop games. But yeah, my route used to be 3 stores, 1 street, and now all 3 stores are all gone from that 1 street.
At the end of the day, they need to make money, right? If they're not making money, they can't stay open. And so if you're into comics and you have the money and the time,
buy the comics.
Look at shop guys, because
even buying one.
Yeah, if you don't go in and support them in any shape or form, they'll just end up disappearing. So, and we don't want that, because all that does is it hurts our fandom. So
it's true. I picked up a DC book that's focusing on fire and ice, and my bro was like, "Who's reading this?" I'm like, "I am. I want these series. I want these books." So even if it's a short series, I'm going to pick it up, even though it's 4 books, because maybe me picking up these 4 issues will tell DC, please keep putting out more books like this.
That's right. Clearly, the people are loving it. That's right.
You have a reader.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Support your art to get more art.
I have boxes and boxes and boxes of weird shit comic books that are worth nothing because I thought they looked cool, and so that's why I collected them. So just
that's why you should collect, because you think because you like it.
Well, I have this other really expensive hobby called cosplay, and it's all my time and money.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? I mean, at one point, it's like it's one of those like choose your battles type of thing, right?
Absolutely.
It's
for a while, their action figures were taking over from comics. It was, what do I want to leave the store with today? I'm picking the action figure.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people have been doing that. Yeah. I mean, you should see Crazy Mike's place. I mean, you want to talk action figures. Yeah. Holy shit!
Like he's at a point where he can't buy anymore because he's got no space for any of it. Like,
it's
like
ridiculous.
And then he'll still go out and he'll buy one. He's like, "Where the fuck am I going to put this?"
Oh yeah.
Like, you're gonna have to get rid of something, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
he's the kind of guy that will get like the regular action figure, and then the nice action figure, and then like the $200 statue, and then like the $1,200 sideshow freaking, and he has them all, right? It's like, holy shit.
I will happily accept presents.
You tell him like the next time, because he has so much Harley shit that and I know he's at a point now where he's like, I got to get rid of some of this Harley stuff. So
he probably has every single action figure. Anything that has the Harley name on it, he has.
Yeah, he pretty much
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So he might hook you up, Miranda. I don't know. You have to message it. Be like,
message Crazy Mike.
Get rid of some of your Harley stuff.
We've been on for over an hour now, so we do have to go. But before we go, you want to remind everybody where they can find you online. Again, your email that they can email you at. Any socials that you want to pitch is the time now.
The time is now, and on Instagram is the best way to find me. It's where I'm the most active. So definitely tiny.amazon on Instagram is the best way to go. And then email is m@tinyamazon@gmail.com. And sometimes I'm on Discord under tiny.amazon as well. And through Instagram, you'll find all my social media updates. So if I start streaming, if I'm on Discord, where my shop will be, that's where the news will be posted. Instagram.
Are you going to be at any conventions coming up as the con season gets going in March?
Possibly. It all depends on where I am geographically. So if I'm here, then I am looking forward to con season for sure. If it's not this year, then I'm definitely making plans for returning next year to Artist Alley Fan Expo. Plans are in the works. So if they don't sync up this year, I'll be there next year.
Sweet.
Excellent.
Thank you so much for having me.
He's like, what do you say?
What about you?
I'm not saying much, guys. I can tell you that we did have, for my local London people that are watching this, we did have another brewery reach out to us. I think I mentioned this on last week's podcast. So we are in talks with Forked River here in town. I'm sure they would be upset that we're name dropping them. They're one of the oldest craft breweries in Ontario.
Nice.
They want to do a collab with us. Yeah, it should be pretty cool. So we are still doing May the 4th at London Brewing Co-op. That is still going to be happening for Star Wars Day. But we're going to be looking at doing something maybe June, maybe July at Forked River. And it's going to be, again, a superhero theme.
In that gap where there's less stuff going on.
In between kind of like Niagara Falls and Fan Expo. We're going to see if we can put together an event there. So we were just talking to one of the managers there today, actually. And we're going to see if we can get that all organized. But otherwise, yeah, guys, we are still waiting, fingers crossed, to hear about March. So as soon as we get word on what's happening, we will let you guys know what we're going to be up to for March. We will be there regardless, but whether we'll have a booth or not, we're going to find out. And yeah, man, that's it. Miranda, we cannot thank you enough for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Let us talk about cosplay. Let us show off your dope ass art. And yeah, I think we definitely have to get you back. Once you get the website all done up and ready to go and you've got your series up, we can get you back on so we can show that off.
Thank
you. Get people over to the right URLs and get you over to see. But otherwise, guys, definitely throw her an email and get a piece. Like I said, I've got a piece. Tana's got a piece on her body. Like, you're not going to be disappointed. You just saw a bare fraction of what Miranda has done and can do. So make sure you're messaging her to get your piece. JS, you got anything else you want to say today, sir, before we...
If I haven't already at the beginning of the show, make sure you click that like and subscribe button, guys. It really, really, really helps us out. It's 100% free. And really, if you share our videos, you'd be surprised how much traction we get when you guys start sharing videos to other platforms, to Facebook, to Instagram, to different things. So please don't hesitate. Share our videos. Let all your following know that we have a great show. Well, I think it's going to be it for this week.
It was a great show. Thank you
Thanks
again.
Miranda.
Thank
Make sure you guys stay geeky. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Geek Podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to make sure you never miss an episode.